Hello Malaysia, hello world. Apa khabar?
Apa khabar?
Welcome to ECM Talk. Teacher's Dilemma, strict versus lenient. That's our topic for discussion today. I'm Raja Shahrul, your host. It has been famously said that spare the child and spoil the rod. But we believe to discipline a child, we don't need to make use of physical means. Any child can be disciplined with love and care of the teacher. Lenient teachers create a different atmosphere in the learning environment. Classroom is seen more relaxed, comfortable aura with greater students' participation. Strict or lenient? From what I can remember during my days, my long days in school, no one likes a strict teacher. Now let us hear more from the expert herself. I have here with me Dr. Chiong Kai Shing, Head of the Center of Pre-University Studies from a private institution here in Malaysia. Welcome to ECM Talk. Apa khabar Dr. Chiong?
Hi, good morning. I'm fine, thank you. I hope you're doing fine too.
Thank you, Dr. Chiong. I will begin my first question to you based on our topic for discussion today.
Alright.
Does leniency from teachers play a role in the progress of students' education or vice versa? Or would this be a way to move forward with providing perfect education?
So we are talking about leniency now. If you ask me, I don't think it is the leniency. I think it is the flexibility. I believe that as teachers, as being a teacher, you should be flexible enough in terms of your teaching methods. Sometimes you need to learn to respect the student's view and student's opinion. So when I talk about flexibility, it is also about, there are also other factors that we have to talk about.
Correct.
You can only give the flexibility if there is discipline. For example, I can give you an example. Let's say I can negotiate with my students on the submission deadline of a coursework, but make sure that the deadline is met after we agree upon the deadline. This is called the flexibility. So the discipline must be there. Now, you can't be telling me now, let's say we have decided on this particular deadline, and then after the deadline you tell me that, no, can't you give me more flexibility? Can't you extend the deadline for me? No, that's not. No, this shouldn't be in place. So I say that when there is flexibility, there needs to be discipline. So if you ask me, it's not about leniency because obviously we cannot pass the students blindly.
Correct.
To me, you have to earn the pass. It's not for the teachers to give you the pass.
Correct.
You need to put in certain effort to achieve certain level of achievement before you get to pass the subject. That's what my thought is, about on this issue. So it's not really about leniency, like you really ask me.
Okay. Now, Dr. Chiong, you were saying about flexibility, and I suppose the whole idea of flexibility is the ability to communicate with the students. Wouldn't that be right, Dr. Chiong?
Yes, flexibility is also about communication.
Yeah.
So when we talk about flexibility, as I said earlier just now, and using the example that I have given earlier, let's say we talk about deadline. So
Okay.
we agree on a deadline.
Okay.
So I'm actually communicating with the students on the deadline that both of us agree on. So this is about communication. Of course, when I talk about the deadline, I will also tell you about the terms and conditions of the assignment, as of when you need to submit it, how you are going to complete it, and how you are going to to do the discussion, and how you are going to communicate with me on all those processes.
Correct.
So it's about communication because I don't think flexibility will work well if there's no proper communication in place.
Exactly, yes. But then again, I'm sure you have come across students who are not as easy as you would expect. Being agreeable to this flexibility that you so-called impose on them. How do you handle these kind of students?
Okay, I would actually tell them that it is about communication and it's about respecting other people's opinion as well. Because sometimes students tend to challenge, let's say I give a certain deadline.
Yeah.
Why don't you follow my deadline?
Yeah.
Why are you actually taking the other person's deadline?
Yeah.
So when there is dispute like this, we actually ask for the opinion of all the students in the class. So we usually go by majority. Of course, there are also other factors. For example, I will look at the difficulty of the assignment, whether that deadline is appropriate, whether the duration to complete the assignment is appropriate.
Yeah.
So it is about communication. Again, it comes back to communication. You
Right.
have to tell them, you have to make them understand why we make certain decisions.
Right.
So at the end of the day, usually the students will actually accept it after they understand, why is that so.
Right.
So it's about communication again.
Well, I suppose in a way it's important for the teacher to be able to communicate in the right way, isn't it? For them to understand, for the students to accept it. If the teachers themselves are being very emotional or being temperamental in communicating this flexibility, then it won't work, isn't it, Dr. Chiong?
Yes, true.
Yeah.
And I think I'm lucky so far. All the lecturers are fine.
Oh, good.
So far I have not
You've got a
received
good team
any.
then, yes.
I've got a very good team
Yes.
of lecturers. They are professional.
Yes.
And I think so far I have not received any dispute on, the students' voice are not heard and the lecturers being emotional so far. No.
Right.
I guess I'm lucky.
Very good, very good. Okay, my next question, Dr. Chiong. Parents believe teachers' job is to pass students in their examinations, and they become highly sensitive if it turns out the other way around. What is your take on this ongoing trend?
Okay, sometimes I do have parents who actually come to me and tell me, look, we pay you, so you're supposed to pass my child or children.
Precisely, yes.
So this is a little bit sensitive. So I will usually tell them that, this is not about us giving the pass grade to your child and children. And the reason why you are sending him or her to an institution is for her to learn. With us passing her or him blindly, the students are not going to achieve the learning outcomes.
Right.
So the students need to put in their own effort, and especially when they are already a young adults, they're going to be a full-grown adult later, and they're going to go to the workplace. So they need to take up certain responsibilities. And as teachers, what we can do is to guide them and to coach them, but not to pass them blindly. So usually, so far, after I communicated with those parents about the logic behind it, they are okay with it. We tell them that
They accept it,
Yes, they accept it. We can't just pass the child just because you pay us, because you don't actually pay us to pass the child. You actually pay us to educate, to make sure that your child or your children learn.
Correct.
Yeah.
Now, what happens, Dr. Chiong, when you come to a deadlock, when parents can be overly sensitive and they still insist on saying that, hey, I pay you, you pass, you need to pass my child. How would you deal with parents like this, Dr. Chiong?
Then we have to go into details. When we have parents, so far only one.
Okay, you have come across.
Yes, I have come across one.
I'm sure.
So this is about constant communication or regular communication. So for this case, we actually follow up with the parents quite regularly.
Right.
So we actually report to parents on, this is your child's performance for this subject and how is the attendance like and how is the coursework performance like. So to make sure that the parents are actually aware of the child's performance. So at the same time, we also will actually encourage the parents to actually motivate the child.
Yeah.
To tell parents that there's only this thing there's only this much that we can do. So as parents, you need to help us too by monitoring your child's progress. For example, to remind the child that now that you know that you are monitoring her or his progress.
Correct.
So make sure that he submits certain assignment on time, because sometimes they are just students who won't want to pass up assignment, for example. They're just being too stubborn.
Yeah, true. That happens.
So sometimes we do need parents' help on this. We are helping each other. To me, it's working hand in hand if you want to get the child educated. It's not about, it is not only about the lecturer's responsibilities. It's also about how parents react to it and how you handle the child. So for example, if you keep telling your child, no, it's okay, you don't need to study, the lecturer is going to pass you because I paid them. then that's not going to work.
Right.
Because it is not the way, it is not the education that we are talking about.
Right. Right. So in other words, Dr. Chiong, it's just not about educating the students. It's also about educating the parents in a way, isn't it? For them to understand the situation.
I
right?
wouldn't say that it is
How would you put it? I mean, from my point of view, how would you put it? How would you handle it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's such a happy. I wouldn't say it's educate. It's actually about awareness. As parents, you need to be aware that it is your child's life. Of course, as parents, you guide them, you coach them, and you send them for education. But you also at the same time need to understand that they are actually growing, and they are growing into an adult. So they need to take up certain responsibilities.
Correct. Yeah.
So it's the awareness and it's this consciousness itself. It's not about educating parents. So sometimes parents are so protective about the children, they tend to forget that, because you take care of the children when they are small, and then when they grow up. So for example, myself, it doesn't matter, my children are growing, but I still take my kids.
Right.
So it is the parents' mindset and it is the perception. So it's about the awareness. Sometimes they don't realize, but I don't have parents, no, they don't really realize. They say, oh yeah, yes, I should give them the flexibility. No, I should let them make up their own decisions. Sometimes when I tell parents, so sometimes it's like it distracts them. Yeah. So it's about awareness. It's not about educating. It's too heavy a word. We don't educate parents, but we remind them.
I may have used the wrong word. Yes. Okay. All right.
Them.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Noted. All right. My next question, Dr. Chiong. What would be parents' role to assist in ensuring a smooth transition for children moving from teenage learner to adult learner? What's your view? Yeah.
In my opinion, is the ability to let go gradually. At this age, I'm talking about, because I'm taking care of the foundation. So we are talking about from secondary school to university. Yeah. So this is the transition stage that we are talking about.
Sensitive age as well.
Yeah, it's a sensitive age. Some children tend to be rebellious still at this age, because I've come across children who refuse to learn because they say that it is not a course that I want, but my parents force me to do it. So
there's such thing.
There's such thing.
Yeah.
So when there are things like this, it requires counseling and requires communication with the parents.
Correct.
And I've talked to a few parents about this, because the parents keep asking, why aren't my child performing? Because they perform just well in the secondary school. Yeah. Then I told them that because we have talked to your child, and they told me that it is not the program that they want. Maybe you need to talk to your child again on what they really want. Correct. And I've also come across students who do very well. Yeah. And then we have this award ceremony regularly. So when we talk to the student and when we interview the students, we find that the student actually liked the program. I mean, it is a program that they like. So what I'm trying to say here is, it is the intrinsic interest. Yeah. So as parents, I think we need to try to let go. We tend to forget a lot of things, and we tend to think that we are actually making the best decision for the children. Yeah. But we tend to forget that they have their own thoughts too. They have their own dreams too. So we need to learn to respect it. Yeah. So I think to help a teenage learner to transition into an adult learner, the first thing to do is to respect the decision. So we really need to sit down and talk to them on what they really want, and guide them accordingly. Yeah. And the second thing is you have to learn to let them take up some responsibilities. Yeah. Yeah. For example, in secondary school, you used to go to school and you take report cards. Is that so? You are expecting so when your child is in the secondary school, so we are expecting the teachers to inform us as parents of the child's performance. But then when it comes to university, we have to learn to respect that they are adult. They are going to be adults, so they need to. We need to respect their view, and we need to respect their rights. So since they are adults, so this is their personal rights, whether they want to disclose the results or if they don't want to. But of course, as parents, I understand that we are concerned about the performance of our children. Right. Right. So what I'm trying to say here is, you need to tell your child that it is their responsibility to learn well and to complete all the assignment, to go to classes, and to be disciplined. And when it comes to the performance part, it is between you and your child. Communication is the word. You have to communicate with the child. You have to tell the child, you have to make them understand that, no, you have to tell me your result because I'm concerned about you. I need to know how you are doing, so that I can help you further and guide you further. Things like that. So don't try to make decisions on behalf of the children. Of course, sometimes there are certain things that you need to talk to the faculty personally, for example, or you really need to talk on behalf of your child. But make sure that there is communication beforehand. Just make sure that you have got things sorted out. If there's really no other solutions, and if you need to talk on behalf of the child, then do so. So it's about letting go gradually, letting go of them, let them grow up gradually. Because if you cling on to them and then you try to make decisions, every decision for them, the child is not going to grow up.
Exactly. You're pampering them for the wrong reasons, I suppose.
Yes, because sometimes parents tend to forget because they are just overprotective, which I can understand because they just forget.
But I suppose, Dr. Chiong, it depends on where you are, isn't it? I mean, the culture difference from where we are here, or in the West, or somewhere in the East. I mean, it depends on how the culture is transacted to the children, isn't it? I mean, the whole idea about what they believe, how open they are with the children.
In my school there is a mixture of international and local students. So of course for international students, we're talking about international parents. So parents from the overseas.
So you deal with both,
So I've met both parents, parents, local parents and parents from overseas.
Correct.
I do see a difference between them.
Of
The
course.
parents from overseas, they will come, for example, let's say bad performance of a student. Let's take this as an example. The local parents, when they will come and tell us, are you actually teaching my children well? Why is my child not performing? What is the problem of my child? And things like that. And then they try to make decisions on behalf of the child. I have parents who actually made a decision to withdraw the child and say that I think my son is not ready yet for the program. I'm going to withdraw him. I'm going to pull him back with me, and then I want to teach him a lesson. I don't know what kind of lesson they're talking about, but I do have. This is talking about Asian parent. Now I also have parents from overseas. I'm talking about Western parents.
Correct.
So they come to see me and say, my child is not really performing. Can you tell me what is really happening? So I tell them that it's because of this attendance and because the child couldn't catch up. Then they will further on and ask, so what can we do to help? So you see two differences here.
They're more open-minded.
Yes, they're open-minded. They say that, okay, let me talk to my child, and I think I will find out more from her. And I want to see whether she's really interested in the program. So we can see two differences here.
Precisely.
So there's Asian parents and Western parents. Of course, I'm not saying that all Asian parents are like that. I'm also not saying that all the Western parents are like that. It's just that these are the parents that I've met, and I do see a difference between them.
Okay. The ideal path is to be genuine, put the students' interest before your ego, before your popularity. If you are sincere and truly care for them, they can feel it even if you scold them. If ongoing, be strict first, because it's never too late to be friendly later. However, it's always too late to be strict later. Theoretically, we have to understand that we need to find a balance between strict and being lenient. Thank you, Dr. Chiong, for being here with us to share your views on this subject matter.
Thank you.
Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Edu Channel Malaysia. We are now in this new normal environment. Please don't forget your mask and sanitizer. Take care and stay safe, everyone. Jumpa lagi.